This is a roughly hewn homily. Why I said that was because many of you know, maybe many of you don't know, but you heard we prayed for my mom, Margaret Mary Fowler Fitzmaurice. She had been at New Haven Court, but last Tuesday morning went into crisis, medical crisis, and by 6:36 p.m. that evening, she quietly and peacefully breathed her last. My brother Marty and I were there because it happened so quickly. My sister was in Bethlehem, PA. My brother in Western Kentucky, they couldn't be there. The people ask me how I appreciate, and I want to thank everyone for those who know, offered your consolations and comfort, cards, prayers, very, very appreciated. And, but I confuse people. I sometimes say, I am so happy. She's free. She's free of a diminished life, dementia, not heavy, but coming on, pain. She's free. And with some time, I'm sure, in purgatory, she'll be with God. She is with God. Purgatory is a cleansing before God. So, yesterday's funeral at St. Margaret Mary, our home parish in Lower Borough, PA, if I do say so myself, was very beautiful. Some of our members of choir, Karen, Jerry, and some of our members of choir, I won't worry about naming, Teresa was there, and Cindy was there, and added a wonderful dimension to it. Other parishioners were there from St. Agnes, other parishes that I've known for many, many years. Several brother priests, Father John Mono, Father Dan Mahoney, he and I are good friends, and Monsignor Roger Statnick. He and I were ordained together. So way back when. Did not study together, but worked together. Anyway, so thanks. Now, there's been moments of sadness, and there will be, of course, but the good news is she's free in the Lord. Why would I want to keep her from that? 2 great commandments. Love God with all your mind, heart, soul, and strength, and neighbor as self. These are to shape and form our everyday lives, our decisions, what we value, our priorities. It doesn't mean we live our life and our faith life is over here in a little part, and we have all these other things that are important. They are, but faith is over here. No. Faith permeates everything about us. If we love God with all, neighbor as self, it can't just be somehow relegated to a portion of our life, Sunday morning or something, okay? I just want to focus on 2 areas, quickly. Area of stewardship of treasure and voting. Now you may notice in the bulletin, our collections are significantly down, $10,000 or $11,000 a month. Okay. That's okay. If we did not have a reserve, as we do, by the way, reserve comes from the fact, many of you know, many of us may not know, that space over there had a gym, social hall, and a large school with offices. All that remains is Resurrection Hall, built in 1965. The other is built in 1960. There was pyrite. A mineral, when exposed to moisture, pushes up. It's condemned, the structure, February 1999, moved school, and raised in 2000. Okay. Insurance settlements brought in about $4.5 million. We've been using that reserve money for various projects to beautify the church, parking lot, et cetera. And so that helps that. And we have to draw from reserve. We just withdrew $15,000 already to meet payroll. So why is that happening? Well, secularization goes on, and so our world's surrounded with everything but God. So secondly, the parents of the present generation of our younger children have, not everyone, but overall, have not been that well evangelized and catechized. Also, of course, the biggie is the release of the report of the sexual abuse scandal of priests against minors and young adults, especially boys and men. Okay? Now, that's of course, we know that's sent a shockwave through our church. It is a sense of betrayal. And I think people are saying, I'm not going to support the church if it means we have to pay for lawsuits the diocese will incur. All we know about that is the way we're structured now, charitable trusts, and this we were told by Monsignor Larry Kulik, who is the Vicar General, at our convocation a few weeks ago, that the way it's structured and the founding documents have been reviewed by lawyers. They say they're as good as they can be, because the challenge is how to, in justice, provide atonement and compensation and opportunity for healing, as well as protect reasonably the patrimony, the financial assets of the diocese, which is your money. The diocese is like the government. It doesn't produce money. It receives it as part of our stewardship of treasure, slow down, Paul. Stewardship of treasure, and manages it well, and invests, etc. So that's the challenge, how to respond in charity and justice to those who have been abused, and how to also protect, reasonably, our patrimony. What's that have to do with you? I'm not asking you to make up $11,000 in a month, but I'm asking you to remember the two great commandments permeate our lives. I'm going to ask myself this question. Please ask that question to yourself. Does my contribution to St. Agnes Parish, or your parish, reflect in a meaningful way that I love God with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength, and neighbor as self? Does my contribution in a meaningful way reflect I love God with all my mind, heart, soul, and strength, and neighbor as self? Without a reserve, we don't shut down, but we significantly have to reduce services. So, God bless, we don't have to. But again, it's not a healthy way to function financially. So, and also by helping us, so it's actually a stewardship. Apart from anything else that's going on, that question would be relevant if we had $5 million in reserve and no scandal. It's still a relevant question. Does my gift reflect how much I love God and care about my neighbor? Because what we provide cares about our neighbor as well as ourselves. The spirituality, the education, worship, pastoral care, charitable contributions, etc. So, they're both. Again, to really pray that, I'm going to pray that question. The other is voting. Our faith life permeates everything, okay? Politics is not to be apart from our faith. I'm not talking about vote for so-and-so. I'm talking about our faith has to permeate all our decisions, including political. Again, two great commandments. Love God with all, neighbor as self. So, question. Paul, people of God, does my voting choice or choices, as best as is possible in a very messy world, say to God, I love you? To love God above all means I obey him. I seek his will and I obey him. Parents, you know your kids love you in many ways, but obeying you is a great way you know they love you. And so, to obey God, we have to know what he wants of us. That's where the Gospels, church teaching come in. About a lot of things, but also about morality. And morality is not apart from politics. It should shine a light on politics. Because, truth is truth. Good is good, bad is bad. That doesn't change. Okay? Now again, there are life issues. There are many issues. Life issues are critical. Without defending life, there's no foundation for human dignity. Without that, many things go very wrong. Very wrong. Okay? Pressure to end life of elderly people. Some countries in Europe say it's morally okay to euthanize Down syndrome children. Because once you say life in the womb is not sacred, it opens up the proverbial slipping slope. So, here's a piece of paper. It mentions it's a comparison of Republican and Democratic platforms. Now, you and I know that there's platforms and there's what they do, both parties. Okay. But at least it gives some indication of trend or direction. I've asked Darryl to throw it on the website. It should be up there this afternoon, barring problems. It'll be a slider, perhaps link, and just go. And please, between now and Tuesday, look at it. It has various topics, okay? And might be helpful to help us. Okay, Lord, how do I show I love you with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength, and neighbor as self? Because how you and I vote doesn't just affect us, it affects our neighbor. Because those with power and leadership make decisions that affect us, positively or negatively. So that's a rough-hewn homily. Thanks for bearing with me. God bless.